Welcome back to the show, Delta Nation. I am Delta, giving you the alpha so you can be most sigma. On today's show, I'm going to cover the long anticipated, most exciting thing this week. Bow, 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 the SpaceX IPO. I will share with you my handy dandy blog that I just wrote about the SpaceX IPO. We'll go over it, maybe line by line. Maybe I'll read it to you. But in it, I cover why SpaceX is the most valuable money-losing company in the world, what you should do with that information given that the IPO is this Friday, how to value this unprofitable company given that it's lost this much and that much money last year in this first quarter, something called lockups that you should really pay attention to when it comes to IPOs. Example of last year's IPO that I used this strategy for that worked out really well for me. So maybe you should use it for this. Maybe I will also. There's an unlock schedule. This is when shares become available for sale. And this impacts the price because of something called total locked value, TLV. So amount of shares locked up. And then I give you a little bit of a comparison of how SpaceX stacks up with Meta. All right, so let's jump into it. If you are new here, welcome. Nice to have you. If you're new to investing, I'll show you exactly how to analyze companies, how to pick winners, and sidestep rookie mistakes that quietly drain your portfolio. You'll know what to do and why. And if you've been doing it for a while, you've been in the game already, I'll teach you advanced frameworks that pros use to generate alpha so you can move with conviction and not guesswork. Things like options that we might discuss when it comes to SpaceX IPO and IPOs in general. And if you're doing this seriously, hey, my deep dives do the heavy lifting. I do the research, I distill it for you so you can focus on what actually moves the needle. Allocating capital with confidence that fits your risk profile. Unless you're doing this full time like I am, it's exhausting. Honestly, I've been at this for a few days, just SpaceX. It's taken me 3 days to make all these charts, graphs, to do all this research, to decide what to do with SpaceX. So you don't have to. You can watch a short video, read a short blog, and have all the information I have that I've spent days doing. There's thousands of public companies. There's an endless fire hose of earnings and filings. Delta Code is your shortcut to research that gives you your time back and the edge to make it count. So let's just jump into the SpaceX IPO. This is Delta diagram for last year, 2025, for SpaceX. Okay. Now, it did flip profitable because Starlink brings in money and it grew 50% year over year. Now, they merged with XAI and Twitter, two unprofitable companies, and managed to lose a shitload of money. It is being valued at $1.5 trillion, which I don't know if that's something you think about when you buy a company that says $135 a share. What does that mean? Okay, so at $135 a share, it is implying once you sell all those shares at that price, the total money is $1.75 trillion. Now, $1.57 trillion is a 93 price to sales. So basically almost 100 times what they made last year. Last year they made 18 billion. So 100 times that is 1.8 trillion. That's how much money they're asking. So if for the next 100 years, SpaceX keeps 100% of the money at the current revenue, right? They have no costs. That's how long it would take to make $1.75 trillion. I want you to really take that one in. Okay, so SpaceX has lost $41 billion since inception. $5 billion last year. And something I want you to consider at this valuation is all these insiders have been at this company for 24 years. And on paper, now many are worth many millions or billions of dollars. And they've never had the opportunity to sell at a price this high. And many knew that eventually this company will IPO and that's when they'll sell. They didn't want to sell in the private markets at a discount just because they needed some money. Some did. So now that they can sell, they will. And at this price, it's too good to pass up. Now, something else to scrutinize is not only did SpaceX lose $5 billion last year, they lost about $5 billion this quarter. So their pace of losing money is accelerating. So it's even more unprofitable than it was last year. Okay? Lockups and supply are what determines the price. It's a supply and demand. If there is only 5% of shares available and everybody wants to buy it, those 5% of shares are going to sell at a premium because everybody wants them. But once the other 95 are unlocked, that price will come down. This happens almost with every IPO. And I did expect this to happen with a company last year called Circle. Circle IPO'd at, I don't know, like $30. It went up to like almost $300. Like it just shot straight up. Not the same day, but on the day one, it went up like, I think 300%. And then it just kept going to the moon, right? It was insane. But understanding crypto has taught me something called low float, high TLV. So low float, that means there's only 5% of SpaceX shares floating around, but the other 95 is locked up. That's most of the value of the company that's implied 1.7 trillion is locked up. Okay. So while $75 billion is going to be sold, the vast majority of the value is locked up. And as those shares become unlocked, especially 6 months, this is 180 days where most lockups, there's a big cliff for insiders, that's when the price hits usually the rock bottom. So if you're going to buy SpaceX IPO, you could benefit from this the first day or two, where it goes from 1.7 trillion to maybe 4, but that's so dumb. This company should not be worth that much. It's not justified based on the money it makes, nor the money it will make in the future anytime soon. There's no projection to justify that. So just, even if it goes up and you buy it early, if I was in it, I would sell it. And because of that, I've already sold my SpaceX. I bought it in the private markets, and at these valuation, I sold my SpaceX before it IPOs. Once it goes down 6 months from now, Elon is unlocked a year from now, okay? So Elon doesn't get to sell until June 12, 2027, his shares. He may not even sell then. But that's the end date of when most lockups end, okay? We got February 2027. We got May, August. August 14th is the second day after FERD. 70 days, 90 days, 180 days. This is the biggest cliff right here, okay? All remaining. There's 10%, 7%. Every month, you're getting a little more added to the float. And eventually, at 180 days, SpaceX itself can issue more shares. So that's why we wait until 6 months after the IPO. At least you get to see 2 quarters of earnings, see how the company's progressing. Are they just losing even more money? Do they have revenue growth to justify that? So there is a great comparison I want to share with you. It is Meta. Meta is worth $1.5 trillion. Okay, Meta made $26 billion of profit in Q1. That grew 61% than Q1 last year. This company is worth only $1.5 trillion. Okay, that's $250 billion less than SpaceX that loses money. Okay, this is a money printing machine that SpaceX aspires to be one day, and it's worth less than SpaceX. If SpaceX was making money like this, I would say, by all means, this sounds amazing. Only price to sales of 7, you got amazing growth relative to earnings. The forward PE is lower than the current PE. That means the expectations of growth, but it's not. And I don't think that SpaceX should be worth more than Meta. If anything, if you had money, buy Meta instead. And in writing this, that's what I've decided to do. I'm going to take my SpaceX money that I've sold, and I'm going to buy Meta. In 6 months from now, I'll reconsider if it's worth. So this is the full year 25, and this is Q1 of 2026. Notice they've lost 4, inching in on $5 billion. Now, their AI is what's losing most money. SpaceX, or XAI, did sign a deal with Anthropic, the company behind Claude Code, for, I think, $15 billion per year. Their data center costs $30 billion, so their payback period, I think, is 2 years. If my memory serves right, those numbers could be totally wrong, but let's take those at face value. Then the AI part of the business that's losing money may not lose money, and then a lot of this might turn around. But still, until I see net income being a nice fat green many billions, by comparison of Meta, it should be 25 billion, 30 billion, let's say, because it's worth more than Meta. Should be $30 billion per quarter of net profit, net income. Then maybe we'll consider taking SpaceX into our portfolio. Okay, that was a sweet and short one. Go to the blog, subscribe. You get this information sooner. You can reference it at will. You can look at the charts longer. And that's where the alpha drops first. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Comment below, it really helps the algorithm. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, may the force of compound interest be with you. Peace.